Hello friends and welcome to my kitchen. It is lunchtime, so I went to the fridge and I found these ingredients. We have some green chili, we have some garlic, ginger, couple small onions. If you have a medium onion, that would be sufficient. Oh, we have a Pixie. She obviously loves to help out. So red pepper. I also have some hoisin sauce that's left over from cooking the other day. Then we have spring onion, tofu, and finally the rice pasta. I like this one because it's so much nicer than the egg noodles and it just doesn't have that egg taste to it. She really wants to help today. So I came up with a really quick idea for a tofu with hoisin sauce and the pasta. Let's get cooking. So to start off, we're going to start with the tofu. The one that I have, you don't actually have to squeeze it. So, you know, with normal tofu, you have to leave it squished for like half an hour to remove all of the water. With this one, you just have to drain it and it's ready to use, making it even easier. Naturally, if you have different tofu, just follow the instructions for the specific type. Oh, and we have a second cat who's really interesting. So I remove all the water. And then we're going to cut this into the pieces of the size that we like. So for me, I'm going to go with just fairly small pieces because I like them nice and crispy. We'll cut them like this. And then into strips like this. And then probably cut them in half. Okay, so this is the size that we're going for. Naturally, you can make them slightly bigger or slightly smaller if you prefer. Next thing we're going to need is flour. So cats obviously have to test it. Yep, it's cat approved. I simply put it in the bowl because that's going to be our coating for the tofu. It's going to elevate it to the next level. Okay, so I have my flour ready, nothing else. We're just going to put the tofu inside and I'm going to coat it all over the tofu. I feel like I should put the camera on the other side so you can see what these guys are doing. Let's do that. Okay, so now you can see what these guys are doing as well. So like I mentioned earlier, I just coated the tofu in the flour, nothing else. Next step, I'm going to spread it out nicely on the greaseproof paper, leaving each one separated from another so there is nice air circulation around them, and that's going to create like a nice crispy coating on the outside. Super simple. It's such an easy step, but it really elevates tofu to the next level. Now, before this goes into the oven, I'm actually going to spray with some oil. So I have a little spray that used to be filled with like a barbecue oil or something, but I actually managed to finish it all and I actually filled it up with some normal oil. That's going to help create this nice coating around the tofu. And that's probably enough. We don't want to put too much oil. We don't want to make it too unhealthy. There we go, that's ready. So that's going into the oven for 20 minutes at 200 degrees. Okay, so our tofu is in the oven and we have some time to start on the veg. So I washed everything that needed to be washed and I'm now going to chop it into small pieces. So I'm starting with onion. Oh, Pixie is joining me again. What's this? What's this? Onion? You don't like onion. I know she doesn't like onion. Okay, that's the last onion. Now I'm going to get a piece of ginger. Nothing too big. Something like this will be more than sufficient. Oh, and I'm starting to cry now. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to peel it. And now I'm going to cut it into small stripes. Just like this. And then go across one more time. Smells amazing. Such a refreshing smell, ginger. Ginger tea with honey is amazing as well. Maybe I'm gonna cut some extra and we're going to make a tea as well. That's small enough. That's going on the side, separate from the onion. Onion will go first on the frying pan, together with garlic and some chili. I like a bit of heat, that's why I'm putting chili in. If you don't like anything spicy, just take away the chili and that will be perfect. Now garlic, I'm going to use 2 cloves. If you squish it like this, it makes it a lot easier. And then I cut off the end of it, not all the way through. it makes it easier to peel it off. There we go. And then the whole thing just comes off easily. When it comes to chopping the garlic, I find the smaller pieces the better. Okay, that's small enough for me. Second cloth. And I think Bluey is asking to play with him. Obviously when I'm in the middle of something. That's such a classic. Time for chili. I'm going to remove the seeds from inside. There we go. So that's all of the seeds are gone. I'm just going to cut them into small rings like this. Okay. To the side again. And now we just have the pepper left. With the pepper, I cut off the top and the bottom, and then you can easily remove the middle just like this. Just like this. There we go. And that's your pepper, nice and clean. We remove the entire middle. And this will be just some nice strips. Nothing too fine. We also want to have some nice texture in this food. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now our final ingredient, just some spring onion. We're going to use it for the topping, and also we're going to use the white ends for cooking with the normal onion. Okay, so the white part, I'm literally just going to mix it with the normal onion, and that's going to be fried at the beginning. Now the green parts, I'm going to chop now, and we're going to use it later as garnish at the top. Done. That's all of our ingredients ready to be used. Now we're going to start to fry everything and put everything together. Now we can begin the frying. I'm adding some oil into the wok. Starting with medium to high heat, I'm putting the onion with the garlic on the frying pan. Personally, I don't actually enjoy any raw onion, so we're going to fry it quite nicely until it turns a little golden. There we go. That should take about 5 to 10 minutes. As for the spices, at this moment, I'm only going to use some pink Himalayan salt. Nothing else. Okay, so my onion is turning nice and golden now. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to add the ginger, chili, and the red peppers and fry it nicely. There we go. Few more minutes on the frying pan. It smells amazing already. While this is frying, I'm going to bring a big pot of water to boil to get it ready for the rice noodles. A little bit of salt into the water. Okay, let's check on tofu. Oh, as you can see, it has some nice color to it already, and it's probably ready to come out, so I'm going to take it out now. And this is my tofu after 20 minutes in the oven. So what I'm going to do, just for the last couple minutes, I'm going to flip each one of them on the other side, spray a touch more oil on the other side, and then put it back. Literally 5 more minutes in the oven, and they should be nice and ready. Okay, that's all sprayed, and they're going back into the oven. So I just took the tofu out of the oven. This is the color that I like to go for. It's nice and golden on all of the sides. I'm going to put it into the bowl now, and we're going to coat it in the hoisin sauce that we have. Now when it comes to the hoisin sauce, I like to be quite generous. You can add as much or as little as you like, but I'm going to go with 2 big spoons of the sauce. I'm adding that straight to the tofu, and I want to make sure that all of the pieces are fully coated. I don't want any dry pieces around the tofu. That looks so delicious and smells amazing as well. Okay, so the water is boiling, and now we're going to add the noodles. I switched off the cooking plate because we don't want to continue to boil it. Now, very important, we need to make sure that all of the pieces of the noodles are separated, otherwise they're going to stick together. Okay, this shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, so just check throughout and make sure they are nice and tender to your liking. Okay, so my noodles are ready now. I drained them from the hot water and rinsed them with some cold to stop the cooking process. Now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to season them with some sesame oil. That's one, going to stop them from sticking to each other once they've been cooked. And two, it's actually going to add a little bit of some nice flavor to it. There we go, not too much, you don't want to go too crazy on the sesame oil. And they will be joining peppers and the rest of the veg on the frying pan. I'm going to turn on the heat one more time to make sure they're nicely coated with all of the flavors in the frying pan. There we go. Once this is done, we are ready for plating. Time for plating. Some noodles. Oh, lovely. Now around that, I'm going to put some red peppers. This is definitely my favorite moment. And I'm a big believer that people do eat with the ice. So if the presentation of your food is not up to scratch, then it's probably also not going to taste as nice. Now on the top, we're going to add a few pieces of tofu. We don't want it to look messy. Just in the middle, just like that. Cherry on the top. Sprinkle some spring onion. Ah, fantastic. I mean, take a look at that. Oh, so good. Well, it's time to test it. Okay, let's taste it. Start with the tofu. Okay, I'm back from this magical world. Honestly, I just lied to you. Tasting is my favorite part. That's all I prepared for you today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this really simple recipe, and do let me know in the comment section below if you tried it and what do you think. As always, thank you for watching and see you next time.